Welcome back everyone, this is G, and today we're going to be making this cloud funnel pour using my cloud funnel technique. I have a batch of freshly mixed paint for this, so I'm excited to give it a go. If you've seen this technique before, we always start with a wet base. This base has gone through a lot of iterations of paint, so now it's a very neutral sort of turquoise color, and the base doesn't have to have any special ingredients, it just needs to be thick enough to hold up everything that's going on top. So we'll give it a spin to spread it out. You can also tilt, but try and not use your swipe tool to move the paint around manually. You'll wind up with a very uneven base, and that's not good for spreading the paint around. Right, so just use your tool to pick up the excess like I'm doing here, and you'll be good to go. This base is quite bubbly because it's freshly mixed, and I've had to stir it several times because I scoop up pretty much the excess into a cup, and I strain it just in case there's any gunk or solid bits from the cups or anything like that. And it's very bubbly. You can't really see it on camera, but I'm using a kitchen torch to just get the bubbles out. People very often see this on time-lapse and think you're spraying something. I'm never spraying anything in any situation. It's always a kitchen torch with a very gentle flame to pop the bubbles. Honestly, when the paints are thin enough, you can just use your breath or just literally blow on it and it'll pop the bubbles. But for now, I'm just using the kitchen torch. So I'm using my lacing mix to just create like a center point to aim my funnel. And this sort of helps keep the puddle separate from the base, especially in the motion of lifting the funnel. So what's going in first is the lacing mix. This is the component that creates the lacing effect, right? You may know this from a different recipe called the cell activator. And the cell activator is, as I just said, it's a recipe, not an ingredient, right? This isn't a cell activator, this is a lacing mix. It's a different recipe that creates the same effect, essentially. And then I'm using 3 different colors. I've got the jungle green, the neon jungle green from Arteza. I've got the phthalo blue, and I've got a mixture of phthalo green plus another shade of metallic green. I can't remember its name. All the colors are from Arteza, right? And then the white paint I'm using is called the Cloud Mix. This is a different recipe that creates a different form of cells called cloud cells. And what's unique about my cloud funnel technique is it's able to combine these two. Otherwise, you would never see cloud cells and lacing in the same painting. They usually require a completely different set of ingredients. And they would never, you would never see them in the same painting. What I've been able to do here in this technique is find a recipe that can accommodate both and hold the shape of their cells really well. And then the funnel is just a delivery medium, right? If you want to learn all the recipes and the tips and tricks for this technique, and you'll see how amazing it is at creating cells, this is my most affordable online course. I'll link it in the top right corner. It's also linked in the description box of this video and in the pinned comment. Trust me, this is my most affordable and you'll get your bang for buck in terms of a paid course. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and look at the reviews at the bottom of the course page, or look at the results that the students have been posting. It's quite amazing. People can get really, really cool results within 1 or 2 attempts. If you really pay attention to the class, I'm sure you can get it right on the first time, but usually it takes a couple attempts because a small detail was missed here or there. So I'm letting you see in real time how much time it took the cells to develop. If you've seen my videos before, you can control this. You can you can make the cells take up to 2 minutes to fully develop. You can have them develop in as quick as 10 seconds. But when it happens really fast, the cells will end up looking loose and they might warp. Whereas if it happens slowly and the paints are a little bit on the thicker side, you'll get much better definition and less warping in the final result. Right? So I'm pretty happy with it now. I'm just torching out any bubbles again because we added all these layers of paint. And I'm sure you can tell the heat isn't really developing cells or doing anything. All of that has already happened. This is just to pop out any bubbles, because you want to get the bubbles out while you still have room to expand. If you're torching bubbles at the very end, they'll likely leave a crater, and we don't want that. It usually doesn't look good. So I won't speed up the video, I'm leaving this in real time. Pay attention to how fast I spin the painting, and notice that if it's going off to one side more so than the others, use tilting to recenter the painting, as I'm doing here, right? Generally, with spiral shaped compositions, you try to retain the center in the center of the painting. If you want to throw it off center and have that sort of composition, that's up to you. And you can generally throw the composition off center by just nudging the painting in that direction on the spinner. Just throw it off center slightly, not too much. If you do it too much, it'll throw the painting off the spinner, right? But just nudge it a little bit in the direction you want the paint to go, and that's what'll happen with centrifugal force. All right, so notice how, if you can gauge the paint correctly, your excess is literally just the base. I barely have any excess paint coming off the side. So I'll scoop up the base right now, put it back in the cup. Now you see why I have a gray neutral base. It's basically everything that gets scooped up. As long as it's thick enough to act as a base, you can just keep reusing the paint. Pretty crazy, huh? The cloud cells in this one are really, really like well pronounced, and the lacing around them is really cool. I really like this painting, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it took like 3 attempts before it to get the recipe right. Just to sort of fine tune it so that the cells look like this. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and check out the online course I mentioned. It's in the description box and in the pinned comments. Thanks for watching.